How's it going, garden people? Welcome to the Hidden Gardens. Today we're going to tackle the corner problem little spot that I've had over in the side front yard garden area. I added this shed that houses the garbage barrels as well as this whole garden area within the past year or so. So I'll link those relevant videos below. But today we're really just going to focus on the immediate right to it, this extra barrel that's here, the stones underneath it, as well as extending this little garden bed out just a bit in anticipation of planting that Kusa dogwood. Recently, I was finally able to cover the driveway area with cardboard and lay some good mulch down to block all these weeds that have been growing here. But of course, I ran out of cardboard, but also within the little garden beds, I really prefer to use paper bags because they kind of break down a little bit easier and better than the cardboard directly in garden beds. So this little patch of area is gonna work really nicely. I'll cover it all with paper bags and then cover it with mulch. In the garden bed itself, I'll use a little bit of compost first and then lay some mulch on top of it, and that'll set me up and prep the area really nicely for some future planting. I use these pavers quite a bit throughout the whole property, mainly because they're fairly cheap, but also they're really helpful to mark out the areas that I want to use for garden beds, as well as walkways, and just kind of really have more of a structure going on in replace of a more permanent type of situation, such as the stones really being permanently placed. The fact that I'm able to lift them fairly easy and move them around really helps me get used to where I want things to go and define areas and change them up as well until I've really carved out and really decided, yes, absolutely, that's going to be a path, or yep, that's where the garden bed's going to stop, that type of thing. So I enjoy using these. Like I said, they're a fairly cheap alternative to more permanent structures that really give me the flexibility to explore and adventure throughout the garden where things want to go and what I want to do. Okay, so I've gotten this little corner area figured out. I did move the blocks down just a little bit, but I think that this is going to work out really nicely, especially when it comes to like the whole weed situation. It's a lot easier to have the stones right up against each other because that gives less room for the weeds to actually come up. And ultimately, I'll have this whole area covered and defined for the driveway area and the garden bed area. Now I may have to come back next season and tackle the weeds that are here, but the covering it with the paper bags and mulch really gives me a good head start and jump start to taking care of that situation in itself. Now I probably could have opted for like something like chip drop and gotten some free wood chips for this area, but I didn't really use too many bags for this particular area, so it wasn't too much. So I just kind of went for my go-to, which is the pine spruce mulch in the bags, which is more of a natural type of mulch to take care of the situation, but it also helps to improve the soil underneath, especially where I'm going with the garden bed over here. I really kind of want to make sure that my soil health is doing well up and close to all the garden beds where I'm going to have plants going. Okay, so the garden bed is extended, the side of the shed is taken care of. I've laid a little bit of compost and then I'll put some mulch on top of it. And right here, I'm just taking some of the compost and putting around these newly planted plants to help give it some good nutrients, especially considering I weeded not that long ago and that kind of depleted some of the nutrients. So it's always good to kind of mulch with some new compost, and I will continue to do that as the fall continues. Alright, so this is a weeping Coosa dogwood, and it'll get about 10 feet tall, about 10 feet give or take width, depending on how I stake it up and how I prune it. It should hopefully kind of mask the barrels behind it and just kind of touch the shed just a little bit, maybe give it a little bit of shade as well. And hopefully, depending on how things go, play nicely with the weeping evergreen that's behind it there. And I'm probably going to add another upright small ornamental tree in this garden bed as well. In this front part of it, we'll see. If you've been hanging out with me for a little while, then you've probably noticed I have a little bit of a thing for small ornamental trees. If I can fit them in, then I'm probably going to try to. So this garden bed is prepped and ready for plants to be added to it, as well as I'm going to hit the garden center because I do have a whole bunch of daffodils planted within this area. So I definitely want to make sure that this extended little garden bed I'm adding to the same with more daffodils. So if you've made it this far with me, I hope that you'll consider subscribing. It does help me out, it helps the channel out, and you'll be able to kind of follow along. I'll be posting the progression of when I plant all these daffodils coming up soon, as well as when they come up in the spring. So I was able to pick up all the daffodils and bulbs that I want to plant for this fall, as well as future note to self: be sure to plant up all the pumpkins that you planned on planting this year when it's time next year, so the little one can go shop the garden out back instead of the garden center while you're there, because I got way too many pumpkins. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, give me a little bit more encouragement, and hopefully it'll push out to those who might like this as well. And I hope that this video inspires you to continue along on your gardening journey, whatever that looks like for you. And thank you for coming along on mine.